Well, I'm sure you've seen it. The market has slowed down a little bit, yet you're still having a little bit of an issue trying to find a house. Well, stick around and find out some of the secrets that you can use to go ahead and find your house in today's market and maybe save a little bit of money. If we haven't met before, my name is Hudson. I'm a real estate agent here in the Las Vegas area, and every day, good folks like yourself reach out to me for their real estate needs, whether buying a home, selling a home, or even investing in real estate. Sometimes that can work out for you even in today's overheated market. So if you need any help, just look down below. All of my contact information is there, and you can call, email, or text me, and I'll get right back to you, or someone from my team will. Okay, let's start talking about what you can do in today's market to go ahead and get a house. Now, I know things have slowed down a bit, so you're saying, well, I'm going to sit on the fence a little bit. Interest rates are high. Inflation, oh my goodness, inflation's almost 10% now. A loaf of bread costs $10. Gas is $5.50. Dogs and cats are sleeping with each other.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the things you can do is kind of like that old Saturday Night Live skit, lower your expectations. Well, why don't you look a little bit lower? In other words, don't look for a move-in ready house. Now, move-in ready houses, even though they've slowed down, are still going to sell for more and faster than other houses. I have seen people go week after week, month after month, trying to look for a move-in ready house when there were plenty of houses on the market that met their needs. And they just said, I want a move-in ready house. I want a move-in ready house. Well, you can have a move-in ready house in 2 to 3, 4 weeks. On top of that, you're going to save a little bit of money. Maybe a lot of money in some cases. So start looking for that diamond in the rough. Start looking for that house in the neighborhood that you want to be in where they're having a little bit of issues selling. Because then you can get in there, and even if you have to put money to it, you can go ahead and get that house for less. I mean, that's a heck of a lot better than just a few months ago when you were paying 30, 40, 50,000 over for a house. You could have got the house and a bargain and then put 30,000 of that into the house and made it even better than the move-in ready house. Remember, always think about your options. Next thing you can think about, if you have a hot house that you just have to be in, you must be in that move-in ready house. Here's one thing. Sellers like certainty. So you can actually enhance or increase your earnest money deposit. Now, you may be taking that at a little bit of extra risk, and there are ways to actually protect yourself in that, but they love saying those things. It's like when you go to a seller and they're going, oh, I'm looking for a cash buyer. Yeah, everyone wants a cash buyer, and they want them to pay 110% over. Okay, yeah, they did a few months ago. Now, they're paying about 70 cents on the dollar. Trust me, I just did some stuff for a seller looking at cash buyers. They are not paying what they were just a couple of months ago. Heck, not even a month ago. So if you're into that house that you really want, enhance that earnest money deposit just by a little bit to give a little bit of confidence to the seller, especially if you're in a possibility of somebody else making an offer. I wish I had thought about that just a few days ago. I put in an offer. I just knew I had it. It had been on the market for 13 days, and 2 people came in with an offer that was very similar. I just knew I had it. Guess what? I didn't, even in the changes in the market we have today. So go ahead and make sure that you get that house that you love. That's an easy thing to do. Throw in another $5,000. You don't lose anything. It's earnest money. Guess what? You can get that back if you follow all the rules. The next thing, stop going shopping to go shopping. Stop going to look at houses to see what houses are like. It doesn't matter what houses are like now. It's what houses are like when you are actually out to purchase a home. Get that pre-approval letter from your lender. No one is going to accept your offer without that pre-approval letter. So what's the use in going out and finding a home that you love and then go like, what do I do next? Well, you got to get a pre-approval letter. Then they start working through things like, you got to hold this house. Nobody's going to hold a house for you. even in this market, they're going to start grabbing for whatever they can. Unless you do something spectacular like give them $20,000 to hold the house, it's not going to happen. Also, I don't know how many times I've seen somebody go, oh, I'm not worried about it, it just happened because I know how great my credit is. Until they find out that somebody put something on their credit that they didn't know about, that they weren't responsible for, that it took them 6 months to clean up. This is why I say you have to get that pre-approval up to a year in advance. I mean, you don't have to be a year, but you need to at least have a lender looking at your stuff a year out, just so you know if there's something there. What happens if somebody put something erroneous in your file, like you had declared bankruptcy? But wait a minute, I didn't declare bankruptcy. Yeah, it may take you 6 months to clear that up, even though you didn't do it. Okay, so remember that. Get your finances in order. It's probably more important than anything else. Get those finances in order. Okay, the next one can be a little controversial, certain parts of the country, and it's called the Escalation Clause. What the Escalation Clause is you can say, I'll pay up to $500,000 for this house. My offer is $400,000, and you'll say it's, I'll pay over $2,000 over the highest offer you receive. That can work. Also, be very careful when you do escalation clauses, if they're allowed in your state, that you protect yourself on the back end. And one of the things you have to do, make sure that the listing agent provides you with proof of the other offers. It's easy to sit there and drive up the price. It's like, ooh, I can get an extra 50 for my client, an extra commission for myself. Yeah, you need to make sure that's a provable fact. And they have ways to prove that they actually receive those offers. And they have to be real offers. Real offers. Because I have run across this one before, and this is funny. I put an offer in on a house, and then I get a phone call. This is going into a multiple offer situation. And I was telling my clients, like, you know what? I think she's full of bull. Well, anyway, we raised our offer a few $1,000. She goes, okay, I'm going to get it signed right now. What? Multiple offer doesn't mean somebody else's offer was better than yours. It could mean that somebody else put an offer in and it was $10,000 less than yours and you panicked. It can also mean somebody called up and said, I'm about to put in an offer. I'm thinking about putting in an offer. And they call your agent up and saying, oh, it's a multiple offer situation. I called an agent one time, I do calls all around the country and stuff, and I was discussing it with him. He goes, oh yeah, if I'm a listing agent, somebody has an offer in on a house, I get a call from somebody who says they're going to put in an offer, I always call around and say it's a multiple offer situation, even if they never put the offer in, because they were thinking about it. Wet thoughts. But it's the way it is. Always protect yourself and always actually follow up and make sure what those offers are. Okay, here's one that you really need to consider up front, especially if you have a little bit of flexibility. Consider throwing in a lease back. In other words, where they can stay in the house for another 30 to 60 days, because a lot of times people are moving on and they can't even find the next house until they sell this one. And it becomes a problem because they don't want to do the double move. Well, if you give them that time, then your offer can be much more palatable to some people. And if you can afford it, give them 30 days. I mean, give them, especially if it's a hot house. In this market, who knows? You may have to play that by ear and get what you can get or do what you have to do. But sometimes that does help. The next one is knowing what to waive and when to waive it. Yes, there are things you're going to waive. Like you could waive an appraisal. If you put down more than 30% on a house, you're probably not going to have an appraisal, which means you can waive it up front and not worry about it and make them feel comfortable. Now, to the seller who may get to this point, be very careful about waived appraisals or waived anything, because just because I put it on paper that's waived, and yes, it's a contract, there are too many ways to get out of it. To the buyer, now you're listening in, there are ways to get out of these waivers. Trust me on that, there are. So play it by ear, be ethical, and do what you can do to get that house. And finally, sit down with your agent and make sure you're both on the same page, that this is a team effort, that everything that you're trying to do to get the home that you love is in alignment. Because if you don't, everyone is just spinning their wheels. So these are the steps that are needed. And the big thing you should also do is look at the rest of the videos that I have, because I put out great videos every single week with information on buying a home or selling a home, both nationally and here in the Las Vegas area. If you need any help with that, information is below. You can call, email, or text me. And if you made it to this point and you have not subscribed and you see that red button below, go ahead, do me that favor and hit that red button below. And if you need help, even if it's not in Las Vegas, I have a network of agents nationwide and Canada that can help you out. So just reach on out.